Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off with an American attack in France, showing some troops running up, and a guy with a big freaking gun. We're now on to the Canadians' advance along the Seine. August 1944. Street scene in France. A Canadian guard on a street corner in the liberated French town of on the Seine, as two dead German soldiers lie covered by canvas near the feet of the Allied soldier. Probably covering them to respect them, you know. Many of these kind of things happen, you know. It's a courtesy kind of to just give some dignity to the soldier that you may have killed or you found on the street, just to cover him up. Or it grossed him out, either way. In the picture below, a Canadian Jeep tows German equipment from a cave used by the Nazis for storage and concealment from Allied airmen. Once again, showing more of these caves. Obviously the Germans hid a lot of things in caves. Either they dug them or they were just caves that had already been there. They throw a lot of the stuff in this so that Allied air power can't knock it out. Smart strategy if the ground forces could have held longer. Smart strategy, but not really when you can't hold the defense as easily. Crossing a stream in the Burma Theater. August 20th, 1944. Tough going for men in Jeep. Men of a Signal Corps unit float a Jeep across the Mogongu River to the town of Kamin, not sure how to pronounce that, I apologize, Burma. They were kept on their course by a cable line extended across the stream at this point. The Jeep had been shrouded in a canvas sack-like arrangement, which gives it buoyancy. The prescribed method for making a boat out of a motor car. You can see right there. And yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, you need to get the Jeep across. Basically turn it into a boat, more or less. It'll do the purpose that you need it then, and it also gives you a decent way to cross the river. Not for the men in the water there, but, for the guys on it. I'm sure they were happy. The Nazis did not have this touch. August 20th, 1944. Fun for the kiddies. That's a word I wouldn't expect to see. An American corporal gives a few sleight of hand tricks for the entertainment of French refugee children in the town of Piabanc, France. After the town was liberated from its Nazi conquerors, the smiles on the faces of these young citizens of France, who will be a part of a new nation, indicate where their allegiance will be centered in the days of peace. Now, I think it's kind of weird to focus on where kids will focus on in the future, but you know how it is. But yeah, there's a lot of stories like this of American soldiers playing tricks, giving candy, that kind of stuff to kids whenever they met them. Just trying to be as personable as possible. It's just something that they were raised up on. And I'm sure a lot of these kids appreciate that. New Russian frontier. August 1944. Once more clear of the invader. As the 5th year ended, Russia's soil was free of the enemy. In the north, Finland was under German domination, although she was about ready to surrender. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania were slowly being cleared of the Nazis. In the central sector, Russia was in Poland and was threatening East Prussia. In the south, Romania had officially surrendered, and Bulgaria was tottering. You can see the lines here. So this dashed line we'll see up here is August 10th. So this is where the lines are as of August 10th. All the way right here. And then that white line right there is August 30th. And you can see by that point, they haven't really got far into Estonia, I don't think. It's kind of hard to tell, actually, where Estonia's borders are. But they're in Estonia. They're in much of Latvia, much of Lithuania. Oh, wait, no, I can see the borders and kind of... Not Estonia's, but there's Latvia. They have most of Latvia, most of Lithuania. East Prussia, they haven't quite made it, as they said. They're threatening it, but they're not there yet. And they are in much of Poland, none of Czechoslovakia. And then here's Romania, as we would say today, but August 23rd, surrendered to the Allies. And they got all the way down to Constanta? So we can see the lines as of August 30th for the Soviets. It's only going to get worse for the Germans. They are not going to not going to recover from this, as we know. Which probably for the best for the world. Chartres greets General de Gaulle. August 23rd, 1944. Another city is liberated. Cheering crowds welcomed the leader of the Free French, General Charles de Gaulle, as he visited the city of Chartres, on a tour of inspection of the liberated area. The tour culminated in his triumphal entry into Paris just a few days later. With the fall of Chartres, the Allies had advanced to within 50 miles of the French capital. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that city wrong, but yeah, de Gaulle is going to get welcomed in most of these cities because he's, like they said, the leader of the Free French. He'll become the leader of France after the war for, I think, a while, but not forever, obviously. He'll die eventually. Rejoicing and sadness in Chartres. Chartres? August 23rd, 1944. Welcome to the leader of the French. My bad. General Charles de Gaulle, acknowledging the tumultuous, my bad, welcome given him by the residents of Chartres, France. The general is speaking from the steps of City Hall in the liberated city. This picture right here. You can see I'm speaking to all these people. And so de Gaulle is kind of a hothead, kind of an arrogant guy. But one thing that he was really good at was speeches. He could get people behind him. He was very charismatic. And that got him a lot of support. It's one of the reasons he becomes so influential in the Free French, because he was the loudest and most influential voice. And so it really goes to show, like, while he may not have necessarily been the nicest guy, he did care about his country, and he was doing all he could to try to ensure that that country was free. And then in the picture below, members of the FFI attended a funeral service in Chartres for their comrades who gave their lives in the liberation of the city. Yeah, you're going to have, there's the French flag. Many of these men and women lose comrades, lose limbs, things like that. They do a lot to sacrifice for France, and it is commendable. It really is. The French people fought very hard to help shake off the shackles of the Germans. The Reds take an important Romania town. August 23rd, 1944. Jassy falls to the Russians. In a drive which netted 60,000 prisoners in 6 days, the Soviet army captured the important town of Jassy and pushed on down the Siret River toward its junction with the Danube. Here, top, Russian soldiers are shown attacking an inhabited locality. You can see them rushing up, attacking it like they said. And below, Soviet tanks and infantrymen push ahead in their great drive for the gateway to central Romania. Yeah, the Soviets are collapsing on the Eastern Front. They're not falling, but they're collapsing down on the enemy. And the enemy just has no real defense. They slow them down a little bit, but there's no stopping them. The Soviets are pushing men, vehicle, everything into this, and they're going to obliterate the enemy as much as they can. A welcome present for the Nazis, or from the Nazis. August 1944. The stove they left behind them. In their hasty retreat, the Germans left behind this field stove, which was pressed into service by Allied Civil Affairs Bureau at their refugee center in France. A refugee cook is trying out his culinary art for the benefit of other French civilians. The job of supplying the hard-pressed French with food was one of the toughest to face the Allied governments. It is kind of funny. They're like, okay, we're going to press this thing into service. There you go. Here you go. You got a German food truck. This thing is kind of interesting. But, the French people, obviously, with them being basically embrittled in, like, a stalemate war right this second. Not really a stalemate, but all of France isn't free yet. There's no real central government right now. There's nothing. So getting people food is, it's going to be hard, but the Allies will be up to the task, and we'll get these people their food as they need. But with that, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I could improve upon. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.